Welcome to the tutorial on how to complete the monthly progress report form. Notes are not required, but may be a good idea as you prepare for the final assessment of this course. In this microlearning module, you will learn the ins and outs of accurately completing the monthly progress report. Some components are simple fill in the blank, while others require more detail. This course was developed to help providers complete paperwork accurately. Doing so will eliminate the need to redo and resubmit paperwork. This microlearning module splits the monthly progress report up into 6 pieces, so we can examine each piece more carefully. By the end of this module, you should be able to complete the monthly progress report form with 90% accuracy or greater, with the ultimate goal being 100% accuracy on the first try. When you are completing this form, there are a few important pillars to remember. Number 1, spelling is vital. One tiny forgotten letter can cause the system to kick the paperwork back for resubmission. Please make sure to pay close attention to spelling at all times. None or NA is rarely, if ever, acceptable. This should not be used on any part of your paperwork. The final thing to remember as you complete this form is consistency in your anecdotal notes. Anecdotal notes are the paragraph-type responses used to explain services provided to the client. If you say something in one section, do not contradict yourself in a following section. This seems like it might be a given, but because of the programming of the software used by the state, simple inconsistencies can cause the paperwork to be kicked back for resubmission. Completing paperwork is a tedious process, but the good news is that you only have to complete this form once a month. The first section is the client and case information. Some of this information can be found in the client service plan. You reviewed Elvis's client service plan in microlearning module number 9. The reporting month and year is self-explanatory. The service start date is the first day of the month you worked with the client. If you started on the 5th, that's the date that you will list. The same goes for the end date. The next 2 sections regarding vendor and client information will be auto-filled by the individual that completed the CSP, and you need not worry about them. For the final 2 sections, total hours authorization for JDR or ES, you will fill out either one or the other, but not both. Whichever is filled out needs to match the calendar you will fill out in the next section. It is a good idea to complete the calendar section throughout the month as you work with your client. Tally up the hours and put that number in the hours used this month. The total hours spent need not be filled out by the provider, nor does the hours remaining. This section is basically like your time clock, and will be filled out whether the services are job search or post-employment. The numbers at the top, date, correspond with the day of the month. The top box asks for your start time that day. The end time goes right underneath. The total number of hours for that day goes in the final box of that row. You will add up the total number of hours this client was serviced and place that number in the hours serviced during reporting month slot in the previous section, the client and case information section. These objectives are not number specific and will be taken from the master MPR. The objectives in this section can change and are found in the client service plan. Each month, you will start with a blank form aside from the client and case information, which will be filled out by the person who completed the CSP. You will take objectives from the master MPR. Start by checking the box with the number of objectives worked on that month. You will either check yes, the objective was accomplished, or in progress, objective is being worked on but has not yet been completed. As with all other sections, anywhere that asks you to describe must have significant detail. None or NA are not appropriate here or anywhere else on your notes. Each objective asks providers to first detail activities and services provided to the client specifically related to that activity. An objective. Under each objective, progress toward reaching the objective or challenges that prevented completion of that objective should also be detailed. The objectives in this section, job search assistance and job placement, are fixed. They will never change. Unlike in the previous section, these objectives will not be removed or changed. Check the number of objectives 1 through 5. For each goal, you will check yes or in progress depending on if the objective was completed for that month or is still being worked on. No will be checked if the objective was worked on but not successfully completed. If an objective is not worked on, you will neither check the no box nor will you write on anything on corresponding lines. Anywhere that has describe must have significant detail. These are areas that should never include none or NA. Anecdotal records should be used, which is a detailed description of services provided to the client. These should correlate from section to section. An important note for this section of short-term job supports. If a client does not have a job, the NA box is checked and the entire short-term job support section is left blank. This section is filled out very similarly to the job search skills and development section. The objectives in this section can change and are found in the client service plan. Each month you will start with a blank form aside from the client and case information, which will be filled out once again by the person who completed the CSP. You will take objectives from the master NPR. Start by checking the box with the number of objectives worked on that month. You will either check yes, objective was accomplished, or in progress, objective is being worked on and has not yet been accomplished. As with all other sections, anywhere you are asked to describe must include significant detail. None or NA are not appropriate here or anywhere else on your notes. Each objective asks providers to first detail activities and services provided to the client specifically related to that objective. Under each objective, progress toward reaching the objective or challenges that prevented completion of that objective should also be detailed. Next up is post-employment services. If the client is authorized for JDR, check the NA box. The post-employment section will only be filled out if the client is authorized for post-employment services specifically. No matter what, the client and case information as well as the calendar will need to be completed. Post-employment services are provided to clients who have previously closed successful but require additional assistance or coaching on the job. If this is the case, check yes. Next, indicate the number of hours the client was serviced that month, found in the calendar by tallying up the total number of hours that month. The next two sections are very similar to what you've seen in previous parts, with the first being activities and services, and the second describing progress toward objectives and challenges in reaching them. These sections will likely be very lengthy paragraphs. The anecdotal records here must include dates and detailed descriptions of services provided and objectives worked toward. Next, you will scroll down to the prompt that says, describe any additional problems or issues that VR client is encountering. None or NA is not acceptable here, but the phrase, the client is progressing and there are not any additional problems to report at this time is acceptable. Next, you will describe concerns or recommendations. Something like, continued job supports to ensure Elvis succeeds at the job is acceptable. Both of these sections are required whether authorized for JDR or post-employment. Finally, the provider will sign their name and the date, which is the last day of the month the provider worked with the client. If you last provided services on Saturday the 17th, you will date it 3/17/2021. Your work on this course is nearly complete. Now that you have finished the tutorial on how to fill out the monthly progress report, you are ready to take the final assessment. You will be filling out a monthly progress report assessment on the services provided to your client, Elvis Presley, for this month. Return to the Google Classroom and complete microlearning module number 11. It includes information for the assessment and the quiz itself. Once you have completed the assignment, fill out and submit the form that indicates you have completed the course so administrators can review your paperwork and assessment.